remember when my parents got divorced, I went completely dissociative, like I was watching it happen to someone else. I'd seen dozens of after-school specials about divorce on TV. I always thought they were such a joke, the whiny kids blaming themselves. Then it happened to me, and I didn't think it was so damn funny anymore. I mean, I wasn't happy before, but I was worse afterwards, because they didn't help us through it. They just dropped the bomb, and then they were so relieved, like their job was over with. I mean, no counseling, no therapy. We didn't even get the take them to a nice restaurant so they can't make a scene treatment. Just wham, bam. Sorry your life turned inside out. Shit happens, kids. Looking back, it's like, who cares? They hated each other. Dad hated being around us kids, especially in public. Mom nagged his ass, something fierce, and who would want to be around all that anyway? Most of my friends' parents were divorced, and maybe I turned out better for it. Who knows? What gets me, though, is how ludicrous it is to be 30 years old, by some standards, a full-grown adult, and still be messed up about something that happened almost 20 years ago. But the worst part is, things might have worked out different if my dad had been around. If every time I'd seen him, it hadn't been a special occasion. Sometimes just being in the same place every day makes things better.
Visiting hours are just about over. He isn't likely to wake up again tonight after the painkillers and sedatives we gave him. You could probably go home for a change and get some real sleep. I'll be back before he wakes up in the morning.
No, thanks. I don't even remember what my apartment looks like, but I'm too tired to drive, and I just wake myself up every 5 minutes anyway. Maybe it's all this gourmet coffee.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not too sure it even is coffee. I've never seen a vendor anywhere near that machine.
Tomorrow the coffee's on me. I'll stop by one of those coffee houses with the Allen Ginsberg wannabes, reading poems about the swirlies they got in high school. Now that's the sign of really good coffee. Angry fake hippies. Maybe I can score a $20 thermos of Madagascar mocha twig if I don't exceed the limit on my gold card. I don't know how you do this graveyard shift stuff night after night.
You get used to it. I kind of like sleeping during the day. My head hits the pillow and a train couldn't wake me up.
That's funny. I'm not what you call a real heavy sleeper, but I know for a fact that a train wouldn't wake me up. I grew up by a train track. I swear my bedroom was not 30 yards from the tracks. So a train screeching by, 60 miles per, horn blaring, that doesn't faze me. I wake myself up snoring, though, so go figure.
How is Dad looking tonight, anyhow?
You're the expert, shouldn't you know? About the same. He's got some pain, but he certainly has gotten over his fear of narcotics.
Well, they usually do eventually.
I don't know how anybody could be afraid of becoming a doper at this stage of the game. I mean, what's he think's gonna happen if he does get addicted? It's not like he's gonna turn into Jim Morrison suddenly after 40 years of nothing stronger than greasy spoon coffee. And, well, cigarettes, of course.
Well, opiates have a bit more of a kick than mocha twig.
The man is no stranger to drug addiction. I mean, he's been smoking at least 2 packs of unfiltered Camels a day since he was 12. For 40 years he thought he was an early riser when truth was, come 6 in the morning, it was just time for the next fix, like any other junkie. I mean, let's be honest, it seems hypocritical to have disdain for people who take an aspirin once in a while when you're waking up in the middle of the night just to smoke.
Well, he's like a lot of these old boys who couldn't have avoided smoking if they wanted to, especially in the 50s. If the girls thought you were a nerd if you didn't smoke, believe me, you would have started to.
Probably. I do like the ladies. He was hardcore, though. My sister and I used to beg our parents to quit smoking, especially riding around. All 4 of us crammed into the front seat of his old Ford truck. Nothing doing, though. I can't tell you how many cigarettes I must have secondhand smoked by the time I was 12. Not to mention cigarette burns. There was no argument strong enough to keep my dad away from his habit.
My parents were the same way. If burning your kids isn't a sign you should quit, what is?
Just the cost of doing business, I guess. I remember one time visiting relatives in Wisconsin, and my dad went for a drive with his cousin, and he took my sister with him. Well, they weren't gone 10 minutes, and they had to come back because my dad put his cigarette butt down on my sister's leg. Now all the time I smoked in college, I never burned one person, and not even a sweater. I never even dropped one, on the floor drunk at a party. So how do you put a cherry on your own daughter?
You got me there.
Then he used to like to joke how he didn't care if he died or not. Figured he was going to hell one way or another. Smoking was the only thing in his life that gave him any pleasure. Quite an insult, really.
Whoops, that's me. I better get back to work while I still have a job. I'll check back in later, hon. Try to get some rest if you aren't going home, okay?
Okay, thanks. Is dying everything you hoped it would be? Getting enough of that long overdue respect and admiration? Doesn't look like it. Looks like the pain in the ass right before the big God knows what. Not like in those cowboy movies, is it? Except for maybe the shootist. When John Wayne's got cancer and Ron Howard wants to be a gunfighter, and John Wayne tries to talk him out of it, and then decides to go out and blaze a glory. It's kind of like that one, I guess. Or Shane. Okay, I tell you what, at the funeral, I'll shout, "Come back, Shane! Come back!" That'd be a nice touch. But nothing like a good Western ending. Those guys knew how to ride off into the sunset and never look back. Tough old bastards. Kind of like you. I'm sorry I'm not that tough.
Did you get to sleep finally?
Yeah, such as it is. I can't feel my neck and I feel like hell. I need a shower. Now, how much do you guys charge for a sponge bath?
I could arrange for one of the orderlies to hose you down in the psych ward.
Oh, would that be extra?
Only if you crap your pants.
Ooh. Give me a minute and I'll see what I can do. And fetch me that brute with the bad breath and the unibrow, because I'm feeling so funky, I could go for the fire hose treatment, as long as they use baby shampoo.
Did he sleep all night?
Yeah, pretty much, as far as I can tell. Just some tossing and muttering. I could swear at one point he clearly stated his desire to be put out of his misery. Does that count as a living will?
Sure. You hold him down and I'll get a clean pillow.
Could you get one with cowboys on it? He always liked cowboys.
Hey, you sleep all the time, you know. You can at least wait till I'm dead to make jokes.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be as much fun. Hey, I know you like to sit there and listen in case anybody says something. You're not fooling anybody, you know.
I didn't know you were awake. Did you know he was awake that whole time?
Yeah, sorry. I can tell he's awake when the muttering finally stops. I can't help it. I'm a son of a bitch. Ask him.
It's true. His mother was a bitch. That'll make it okay. Oh! Maybe I can get an extra one of them painkillers.
We'll see.
Just put it on the tab with my shower.
I'll see what I can do about a suppository.
Make it 2, if they're small.
Are you ready for your morning chores?
Yeah, I reckon I better. Why you gotta talk to people like that for?
Oh, give me a break. She caters to me almost as much as she does to you. You're just upset because you're not the center of attention when you're asleep.
She don't need you talking to her like that when she's trying to work.
Are you crazy? She loves this stuff. Do you know how many uptight sick people she deals with in a day besides you? Not to mention family members that treat her like a waitress with a med tray. I'm just trying to make this a fun room for her to come into. Besides, you're just angry because she likes me better than she likes you.
Now, boys.
Yeah, you go to hell.
Well, see you there, buddy.
Want to sit up?
Yeah.
Nice and easy now.
Hey, turn on the radio, would you? Paul Harvey's about on.
Speaking of going straight to hell, hey, how about something a little livelier? Like a Garrison Keeler marathon. Or maybe there's a bowling tournament on. That always helps me go.
Oh, boy, could I use a cigarette. Hey, don't give me no grief. I like listening to him. He's not full of shit like some people. He tells it like it is.
Hey, did you already shoot him full of drugs? He's talking like a madman. Tells it like it is.
I like Paul Harvey too. It's like listening to your grandfather. He's like a security blanket for some folks.
Okay, well, you'd at least think there'd be an FM station that would carry his show, so the background hum wouldn't drive those of us forced to listen insane. I mean, does it really matter what he says as long as he's talking? I mean, maybe he could do audiobooks. Shakespeare is read by Paul Harvey. Friends, Romans, countrymen, good day.
Trying to kill me, ain't you? You just can't wait till I'm dead so you can take all my money and spend it on dope and strippers and fancy Italian shoes or something.
You've got money?
I better get those meds. You could watch him for a few minutes?
Yeah, no problem. One time, I buy a pair of cheap-ass boots with an Italian-sounding name for $40 on sale, and suddenly, I think I'm better than everybody else. Jesus, they weren't even really Italian. They were made in the Philippines, just like good old steel-toed American work boots. I'm not exactly a fashion mogul as it is, but let me do just one thing with a little bit of individual flair. I got to hear about it for years. It becomes the boot story, retold at family reunions for a decade. Yeah. Remember that time Craig bought himself that pair of fancy-ass boots, thought he was hot shit, they didn't even last him 2 years? Let that be a lesson to you. Hey, people like that, they have their weakness, though. Now, anytime I buy anything, I tell them it's a Brutini original, or I special ordered it from Target in France. Drives them crazy.
Oh, God damn.
You all right?
Yeah.
Do you need me to get the nurse?
I need that painkiller.
Okay, I'm gonna go see what's up real quick.
I thought you were watching.
I think he needs you. Hey, Beck.
Is everything okay, Craig? How's he doing?
He's all right. He's just having some pain. Look, he's on the job right now. He doesn't care if I see that kind of thing, but if you go in there right now, he might not be able to go again for a week.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry to see my father on the toilet if I can help it.
Call. I haven't slept in days. Is that what I think it is?
Yep. Mom sent some bread over.
Is she looking for abuse?
Probably. Anything for a little attention. Maybe it's one last dig, but I think it's sincere.
Better let him think that you made it, though. Don't ask, don't tell policy on all maternal baked goods entering the room. I don't even know if we can have it.
Well, let's hang back until he's through.
Yeah. I think we could all use a break for a little while.
Driving you crazy?
I try not to be too much of an asshole. Every time I start to catch myself getting pissy, I think about how guilty all of this is going to make me feel later on, and I rein it in. Don't think he doesn't know it.
I bet. So what have you guys been talking about day in and day out?
Not much. Westerns, current events, who pisses him off. Nothing new, I guess.
Well, you didn't expect him to change at this point, did you? He isn't fading fast. Why don't you go home?
I don't know. Maybe I'm making up for lost time.
Well, there's a lot of time to make up for, compared to what's left.
I'd like to think he'd at least be mildly interested in meeting me halfway, though. I mean, God damn it, it seems like such a waste, you know? Years of nothing, and now I've got to reevaluate everything and try and cram it into, what, a couple of weeks? He's the one dying, and I feel like I'm the one getting screwed over on the deal. How selfish is that?
A little bit.
Shit. I'm trying to do the right thing here. There's no manual for this stuff.
I didn't say it's bad. I don't think selfish is really the right word. It doesn't make you a bad person for wanting something from someone who isn't going to be around forever.
It's good enough for me.
But you can't expect him to change.
I guess not.
What?
Oh, I was just telling the nurse last night about that time in Wisconsin when Dad stuck his cigarette on your leg.
I don't remember that. I remember going to Wisconsin and some uncle or cousin with hair all over his arms and back and shoulders.
Denny the Sasquatch. I mean, that guy was a hairy freak. And he wore muscle shirts the whole time we were there. Unreal.
Yeah, that's him. Great guy, though.
Oh yeah, salt of the earth otherwise.
I don't remember much else from that trip. I don't remember much at all before junior high.
Really? I remember everything. Heck, I remember when Gerald Ford took office, it was on a Saturday. I must have been about 4, because I remember being pissed off that there were no cartoons on. I mean, I was all like, hey, where's Josie and the Pussycats? This can't be happening. I checked every channel, same thing. I didn't even know that they could do that. I mean, that is probably the first time I ever realized how much life could suck. Probably also why I turned out Democrat.
I don't remember that either. Maybe it's a good thing not to remember too much. It saves me a hassle of holding grudges over little things I can't do anything about anyway.
That would be nice.
Yeah?
I mean, I am constantly thinking about every slight I've ever had to suffer at the hands of all kinds of people, most of whom don't even matter. I mean, like, who cares what some 4th grade teacher said about me in the 70s? Stupid bitch anyway.
Way to let things go. I wonder where you got your ability to hold a grudge anyway.
Yeah. He's still in there bitching about things that happened 20 years ago. Oh, this one left him. That one took his stuff. I can't say I don't understand, but the best revenge is to live a good life and not become a bitter, twisted old freak obsessed by every single slight. Like I said, here I am. I can't forget anything that he or Mom ever did to us. And not because I don't want to, but...
Because you don't forget anything, so...
I don't forget anything.
You know, I don't even remember when Mom and Dad got divorced. You'd think I would. I was, what, 12?
Yeah, about that.
But I don't. I must have blocked it out. Maybe it was too traumatic.
Are you serious?
What?
I hate to tell you this, but you were a wreck for weeks.
No, I wasn't. Really?
Yeah, I think we both were. I don't think you came out of hiding for weeks. You just stayed locked in that little pink room of yours and played that damn Rick Springfield record over and over again.
Now, Rick Springfield, I remember. I wonder what happened to that record.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet. I hate to think I can't remember some of this stuff because it's too hard to deal with. Because I'd much rather think I was thick-headed or getting old. I'm not going to wake up one day and find myself on Oprah with recovered memories, am I?
Anything's possible. I doubt it's that serious, though. And besides, I remember enough for both of us.
I remember Dad being there. And I remember him, well, not being there. But I don't remember him leaving.
When Dad left, it was near sunset. He'd been putting it off all day. Mom was like, what the hell is he doing out there? It was cold, like mid-October. He went out to his garage because there's nothing left to say inside, I guess. He had some stuff in the burning barrel smoldering. The The smell was hanging in the air the way it does when it's cold. I went out there because it seemed like the thing to do. I felt sorry for him. The whole thing was a mess. I guess I was hoping he could say something to make me feel better, but that was a long shot. Even the most meaningless cliche would have worked with nothing. About 20 minutes of standing around, he sits me down and he gives me $100. He says he owed it to me. And he didn't. And he got this self-satisfied look, like that made every humiliating thing he ever said or did to me okay. Like every time he smacked me in front of some hayseed pal of his. And that made me mad. Like money could undo the years of being ignored and the criticism like I wasn't good enough for him. Oh, now suddenly I'm good enough because I'm all there is. My head got all tingly, like blood was going into places it had never been in before. And this ugly hate reared its head for the first time. I took that money. I looked at him and I said, "Do you remember that time when I was 8 years old and you told me that all the kids in 3rd grade were gonna call me Poncho because I was so fat? I never forgot that." And I turned around and I walked away and I didn't look back. For a long time after that, I wished that I had.
How are we coming in here?
Oh, all right, I reckon.
I thought he was gonna keep an eye on you.
I'm okay. He was only gone a second.
That's all it takes for somebody to fall down and crack his head.
Yeah, well, my head's pretty damn hard.
It looks like your daughter brought some bread for you outside there. We'll have to make sure the doctor says it's okay though first.
Well, let's hope her bread's better than her mother's.
Why is that? Not too good a cook?
Good God, no. Francis's idea of goulash was a macaroni with tomato juice. No salt, no pepper, nothing. Not tomato sauce, tomato juice.
Sounds like my grandmother's.
Damnedest thing I ever saw. First time she tried to make bread, well, hell, it could have been too damn long after we was married because she was pregnant with my boy. She decides she's gonna bake some bread. Now, she ain't never made it before, but she decides she ought to learn.
Seems reasonable enough.
Well, she come out of the house all excited and she goes, "Buddy, buddy!" And I go, "Yeah?" She says, come in here quick, my bread's done." And I go, "Well, let it cool off. I'll be in a minute." She goes, "No, come in here now while it's hot." So I go on in there and it don't smell too damn bad either, you know. I thought maybe I got me a pretty good deal going on here.
Well, that does sound like a good deal.
Well, no. So I says to her, I go, "Well, you better cut me off a hunk of that bread." And she goes and she cuts off about 1/4 of that loaf, slaps a good portion of oleo on there, and she's just a grinning, because she actually used to like being a wife. And she goes, "Here, is this big enough for you?" And I go, "Well, if it ain't, there's plenty more where that come from." Tasted pretty damn good, too. Well, she gets me a Pepsi out of the fridge to wash it down, and she's got another piece ready for me, damn near as big as the first, if not bigger. I go, "Damn, woman, I ain't finished the first one yet." Well, I'm getting on down near the end of that second piece, and Pop's about gone. All of a sudden, my guts feel like they're gonna bust.
Oh my.
Yeah, and it ain't 'cause I ate too much either. Hell, I ate twice that much and never felt half that full. I don't know what she done to that bread, whether it was the pop or yeast too hot, but I ended up going to the hospital looking like I'm the one that's pregnant, 'cause there wasn't nothing we tried working. Yeah, them doctors thought that was pretty damn funny. Short of operating, there wasn't nothing they could do. And Frances, she's just laughing her ass off too.
Boy, it sounds like you're lucky to get out of that one alive.
Yeah, I reckon so. Got a bunch of bumps and bruises for my efforts over the year.
Well, it couldn't have been all bad. You had a wife that cooked for you, and you got 2 kids out of the deal, didn't you?
Yeah, I reckon so, but I don't think I'm gonna be remembered too much for that, though.
Well, you couldn't have been that bad, or they wouldn't be here right now waiting for you.
Well, it took a lot of years to get there. Hell, they didn't used to call me for months at a time.
Did you call them?
Well, I figured they didn't want me to. Besides, I'm no good on the phone anyway.
Nobody can be that bad on the phone. You should have called them.
Seems to me a man ought to be able to get his kids to call him. If they knew how much I gave up, how hard I worked to put a roof over them and food on the table. Huh.
Well, kids don't think about those things.
Yeah, well, I worked all my life. Sometimes 10 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. Hard work, too. Welding up on that scaffolding down there in them tankers. Yeah, well, looky here.
Ouch! Look at that. That must have smarted some. How'd you lose that? Was the nail gone or the whole tip?
Whole tip. Lost that when I got it caught in a trailer hitch. Lucky I didn't lose the whole hand. You know how much sympathy I got from my family, huh? They're the ones that said I was lucky that I didn't lose the whole hand. Now what the hell kind of a thing is that to say to a man who just lost his damn finger?
Not everybody knows the right thing to say sometimes. You strike me as a little hard to talk to at times, am I right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I think I'm right. Sometimes, when you care about people, when it matters the most, is when you can do the least about it. You want the people around you to know what to say and do without your having to ask them for what you need. It's like a catch-22.
What?
You know, it's like when you want something and you'd have to ask for it to get it, but if you have to ask for it, you don't want it. It won't mean anything to you then. You see what I mean?
No, not really.
It's like Christmas. You might want a new set of power tools. You're saying all year long that you do. Then come Christmas, your wife asks you what you want. What you really want is for her to know that you've been talking about power tools for 6 months.
Yeah.
The tools are just things you might like to have. It's having people who should know you better than anyone in the world know what you want without asking that you really want.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, your kids are here now, so why not be grateful for that? I've got plenty of work to attend to myself right now, so how would I let them back in here and you can have a nice visit and not be too grumpy, okay?
Okay.
He's all ready, and you can come in now. Give me a shout if you need anything. He's had a shot, so he's gonna be okay for a while.
Thanks a lot. Hello, Daddy.
Hi,
How are you
pumpkin.
doing? Do you need a pillow or some blood or anything?
Oh, now, don't you go fussing over me.
I brought you some bread from home. Probably still warm in the middle if you can have some.
I don't know if I can have any. We better check with the doctor first. But it sounds real good, though. Your mother didn't bake that, did she?
Good Lord, Dad. One bad loaf in how many years doesn't make a woman an assassin? If she wanted to kill you, she wouldn't have divorced you.
Better safe than sorry. Yeah, she may outlive me, but she sure as hell ain't gonna get me.
Don't be so grouchy, Daddy. Have you been eating enough? You look good, though.
Hey, how's that grandson of mine?
Oh, he's doing great. I brought you some pictures.
Let me see. Let me
Here.
see.
Okay, here they are. That one's from Little League.
Looky there. Little slugger, ain't he?
And that one's from swimming lessons.
Regular Olympic athlete. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends up with the gold medal. That one there.
He likes to play around a lot. Does a lot more talking than swimming.
Yeah, well, runs in the family.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't missing work to be here, are you?
Yeah. I'm sorry I can't see very long.
Here it comes.
But I have to go to work.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
Those accounts aren't going to receive themselves.
Yeah.
stop by later, though. Luckily, this one here isn't busy these days, so he can stay.
Hey, I make enough at the bar on weekends that I can be here during the week. But no, I guess I'm not as busy as some people.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with work.
Didn't say there was. I just like to work smart and have free time.
To do what?
Whatever the hell I want. I mean, if I want to sleep till noon or hang out in a coffee shop or a bookstore, I will. Was it a luxury? No, but it's nice.
Well, meanwhile, rest of us have to work for a living.
Work. I just enjoy what I do. I mean, you enjoy working 12 hours a day, so you can feel morally superior to lazy people like me.
As fascinating as this little round table discussion seems to be, I better hit the road. Mwah. I'll stop by after work to see if you need anything. You know, you two should really try to do something today, besides argue.
What else do we have?
And what?
Nothing. Do you want some of this bread?
Nah, maybe later. Hey, you been going out with any of them women at that dance club you work at?
No. They're not exactly the most stable of people. They are fun to party with, though, once in a while. Man. I ain't seen anybody regularly since Amy Schnobelin.
Who?
You know, the one you refer to as that Chinese girl.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Always did have a thing for them Chinese women.
Well, she was Hawaiian, you know, and only half that. Her dad was German. And she was from Missouri anyways. You know, Mom liked her too, but probably not for the same reasons you did.
Well, your mother was just happy to see you with a woman. You know, she always thought you was gay.
What?
Yeah, like your Uncle Bill.
Bill is not gay.
Oh, the hell he's not.
Oh, he's single and works in a nursery, so the whole family thinks he's a florist, and hence gay.
Damn right.
Hey, I hate to break it to you, but that guy comes into the Lucky Lady sometimes, and if he ain't straight, he deserves an award for the lengths he'll go to fake it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. He always was a sneaky son of a bitch. Besides, he knows you work in there on the weekends, and he knows you'll probably tell your mother you saw him in there.
Oh, yeah, good point. I guess that beats the hell out of watching 2020 on a Friday night.
Yeah, I guess it would. You know, I hate that Barbara Walters. God, that show's gone downhill since she come on there. Hey, I was watching that show a little while back, and then that doctor fell on there, the one that helps people kill themselves.
Dr. Kevorkian.
Yeah, I guess that's him. Well, it got me to thinking about my own situation and what I should do.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't want to die like this, a little at a time. It's too damn much trouble.
It's no trouble. I mean, it's gonna happen how it happens. We'll be here.
Not that.
Then what?
I want you to do something for me. Now, it's the last thing I'll ever ask you to do for me.
Dad, we can do whatever you want.
When the time comes, I want to die at home.
We can do that.
And I want you to get me a gun so I can just end this quick.
Didn't you just get pissed because we were joking about that?
I'm serious. I don't want to lay here like some invalid, waiting for the end. I don't want to be no burden on nobody.
You don't want to be no burden on nobody? You want me to get a gun and help you shoot yourself, but you don't want to be a burden? I'm sorry, Dad, but I can't do that.
Just figures you couldn't do this one thing for me. Goddamn one
Don't
thing.
tempt me, old man.
Who are you anyway? You my son? I always did suspect your mother of bucking around on me. Probably belonged to mailman.
Where is that woman with the drugs when you need her the most?
You know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, I just don't want to have to hear your conspiracy theories about my mother anymore. You put me in the uncomfortable position of having to defend the woman, and I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true.
No, it's not. Look, I've got the same hairline. I've got the same bad feet. Hey, I alienate everybody around me too. I know you like to think you could have done better. I'm sorry to be such a bitter, damn disappointment. Maybe you'll get lucky next time and God will reincarnate your ass in Appalachia. Well, then you can have the kind of life you always dreamed of.
I don't understand a damn thing you're talking about. Could you try to make some sense for a change? You're always talking that college talk, and I don't
College
get
talk. Now, what word did I use that you didn't understand?
You'd think with all the time and money you spent getting a college education, hell's bells, you'd have done something with it. What you supposed to do with an English degree anyway if you ain't gonna teach? All it did was teach you how to talk down to people.
Yeah, you make it sound like I can't talk to real people. While my professors all looked at me like a dumbass head. Hey, I don't talk college. You just don't want to listen.
Well, you don't listen to me either. I never made it past 10th grade. I don't know anything about that stuff you learn in school. I work. That's what I do, and I'm proud of that.
You know, you make it sound like I'm ashamed of you. I mean, do you understand that no matter what I do, I'm blue collar too?
I don't see how.
Yeah, well, you don't, but they do. I mean, that is all they see is a hayseed getting ahead of himself. I mean, they don't see me as smart. I'm stuck in the middle here, and the least you could do is not give me a world of shit for not being just like you.
Good to see you boys getting along. Ready for some chow?
You bet. I was just about to have to hear about what a bad father I was. Again. Hell. When I was a kid, we didn't have nothing. I went to work when I was 10 years old, and I didn't ask nobody to thank me, and I didn't expect them to either.
Thank you.
Yeah, kids nowadays, they think somebody owes them
Hey,
something.
I said thank
Well,
you.
hell, don't nobody owe you nothing. Don't owe you shit, especially if you ain't willing to work for it.
No, don't go getting yourself all worked up and bothered. Just have this and relax. The pain is just making you cranky, that's all.
And well, I was doing just fine till he had to go and open his trap.
Well, don't go disturbing everybody else. You're not the only ones who need privacy on this floor, and I don't want to have to come in here and make another scene like yesterday.
Hey, he started it. And I'm the one that has to go through all this without the aid of medication?
Yeah, I bet you've got something stashed away for a rainy day.
Well, it's raining, and I obviously don't.
I better not have. One thing I can't stand is a doper.
Yeah. Hey, you think if I had any pot, I'd be here? Besides, your daughter was more into that shit than me. Oh, but you'd probably forgive her that. Just like you forgive her not being here on most
Well,
days.
you know she can't get away from work.
Oh, yeah. She's a real hard worker. I'm sure they couldn't get by at the bank without her. It's a real tragedy.
Well, what is it that you do these days that gives you all this free time to come here and darken my doorstep, huh? When's the last time you ever had a steady job?
But just lay off it. And besides the bar, you don't even understand what I do.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's way above my head. I know what you do. Jack shit, that's what you do.
I work at the bar on weekends. I write, I proofread papers for college students, all under the table, and I still get unemployment checks from teleservices.
I ain't never once in my life accepted welfare from the government. I don't need charity from nobody. But how many checks have you collected? Hell, you ain't half my age.
Okay, first of all, those aren't welfare checks. I mean, they're unemployment checks. And they come from money that I paid into unemployment. The state doesn't have a problem with it. I don't see why you should. And secondly, I work under the table and out of my apartment. I set my own schedule. I mean, I'm not lazy. I'm not even unemployed. I'm screwing the government. I thought you would like it.
Yeah, why'd I like that?
Well, considering how many of your hayseed junkyard pals ain't had legitimate jobs their entire lives, you hang with them.
Why are you related to them?
Hell, half those hicks are squatters. I mean, you respect them, but you don't like me getting money back from my own unemployment?
That's welfare. You're just trying to make it sound like something it ain't. Well, I ain't never needed it. Even when I was laid off that job that I had for 26 years, I never collected a dime of unemployment. I had that coming to me.
What the hell is the difference, huh? Well, you did your thing for 26 years, so you earned it. I did mine for 2.5, and I didn't.
Man should work, that's all.
It's not like I'm getting extra, you know? It's all prorated. I hated that job. Stuck in a freaking cubicle all day long, selling people crap they don't want or need.
Well, work ain't fun.
Working with people who can't have a decent conversation.
Well, not everybody can understand what you're talking about.
And then on top of that, to get fired for what, a bad attitude?
Well, you do have a bad attitude.
Hey, you're goddamn right, I do. I mean, everybody should have a bad attitude that does that stuff. People hate you for trying to get them to buy shit they don't want. You can't take no for an answer, and you hate yourself for it. Oh, but it's a job, right?
Right, at least you was punching a clock.
Look, I might not be punching a clock or doing 12 hours a day, but I'm happier than I was. I mean, I get by tending bar and proofreading papers. I mean, I have fun. Well, what's the point of life if you never have any fun?
Well, you can't have fun all the time.
Yeah, but why not try, huh? You sit here bitching and moaning about everything. You always have. I mean, I can't think of anything that ever made you happy except knowing that everybody else was as miserable as you. Even the stuff you like pisses you off.
Like what?
Like work. Well, you do it, but everybody you work with is lazy or incompetent.
Yeah, well, not all of them.
I never heard of the ones you like.
Well, some.
And you like what you do?
I like it well enough and it pays my bills.
So why can't you appreciate that I like what I'm doing? I'm not fucking with nobody, and nobody's fucking with me. No, I'm not married with a house full of kids, but that's not my priority. Even Mom doesn't bug me about that.
Yeah, well...
Well, yeah, you know, I come to find out it's because she thinks I'm gay. Yeah, but after the mess you two made of being married, I swore that off when I was 14. So, you know, why don't you tell me, just what is it you think I should be doing anyway?
Well, you'd have done better. You'd have done better going to truck driving school. At least then you'd have a job that pays good. Or what about the Army, huh? Your Uncle Earl, he done okay. Got to see the world, made sergeant before it was all over. Say, didn't you tell me that back in high school they talked to you about some kind of flight school or something? Now, what the hell is wrong with that?
You know, I'm amazed at what you remember. I spent one afternoon in a recruiter's office. I didn't even think I told you about it. And you remember that better than me. I never wanted to go into the Army. That was your deal.
I couldn't go, but I would have.
Hey, you didn't go to Vietnam because of your bad feet. I don't remember you complaining about missing out.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Look, I'm glad you couldn't go. Or didn't go, whatever.
I would have gone. Ain't nothing wrong with the Army.
I know. You know, I have friends in the Army. But look, the only thing I could have counted on was a stint in Germany and a tour in the Gulf. Is that so much better than what I did?
The Army takes care of its own.
Enlisted men get shit in the Army. I mean, you could have at least wanted me to do something like ROTC. No, but you wouldn't have wanted me to become an officer. You wanted me to experience the nobility of life on the bottom, suffering endlessly so we finally be on the same level, and I respect and admire you.
A little respect wouldn't hurt none.
Shit, I do respect you. I mean, don't you get it? You keep talking about how good we had it. Now, I don't deny we got fed and clothed, but you never wanted anything better for us, and that is the problem. It would have made you feel inferior if we got a leg up. Look, I'm sorry, but that is wrong. You know, I mean, I didn't go to college just to get a job. I went there to learn things.
Learn what, huh? How to be a bum and collect welfare checks from the government?
No, to learn things about life, or philosophy, literature, scuba diving, whatever.
Life? What the hell can you learn about life at school? Life is what happens every day to people who work for a living. You get up, you go to work, you earn money, you pay your bills. Nobody said life was supposed to be fun. It's about responsibility.
Yeah. Well, nobody said life was supposed to be a giant bitch fest either. Oh, but it looks like you managed to get there.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, I got plenty to bitch about.
I've noticed, god damn it! I'm the one that's here every day!
Why do you gotta bring all this shit up now for? I ain't gonna be forever. Why can't you just let it go? God damn it!
It's like hot potato, and I'm it. Like you gave me all of this anger, and then you quit the game. I can't get rid of it. But as long as you're here, remote as it seems, there's a chance. Once you're gone, I'm stuck with it forever.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to learn to get along without me. That's all I can say.
I know that. You think I don't know that? I've always had to get by on my own.
Oh, you never had to go without nothing.
I'm not talking about the legally required minimum standard for childcare here, Dad. I'm talking about the extras. The things that made us father and son, and not just two guys related by blood and luck. I'm talking about really being there. Not just paying the bills and eating supper at the same table.
Then what? What?
You think what I want is such a mystery?
Well, I can't give you nothing if I don't know what it is.
I want you to know me better than anybody else. I want you to listen to me. I want you to be proud of me.
Like you are of me?
Yeah, I guess.
I remember when you was a kid. You wanted to play baseball. Hell, I didn't know anything about baseball. Hadn't played since I was maybe 10. That was just schoolyard stuff. We didn't even have gloves. I was going to give you and your friends a ride over to a game at Walnut, but you didn't want me to. No. You said you wanted to go with your friends, and I didn't have to go if I didn't want to.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, it happened. How's that supposed to make me feel, huh? You want to spend time with your kid, and he don't want to have nothing to do with you because he's ashamed of you.
I mean, I was just a kid. I could have been, what, 9 or 10?
That's the point. That's when a boy's supposed to want to do things with his father. You were embarrassed to have me around. I embarrassed you. How do you think that makes me feel, huh? The son is supposed to be somebody like you, at least a little bit. And to have that kid not want to hang out with you, I can't think of nothing that feels like that.
Still, you should have kept trying. Look, you can't just give up one day because it's too hard.
It wasn't just that once. That's just a time I remember better than the others. There was lots of other times. When enough of them times happened, you just stop trying because it ain't worth it anymore.
There must have been some time in the last 20 years you could have tried.
Well, when
Wasn't there?
When I was your age, and we didn't talk about this stuff. We got up, we worked, we ate, went to bed, and that's pretty much it. People nowadays, they got too damn much time on their hands to worry about this stuff. When you are working 12 hours a day, you don't have time to get your feelings hurt. In many ways, it was better like that. You had your priorities lined up for you. Hell, my dad never spent any time with us. If I went with him in his truck when he was looking for a park, well, that was good enough. Maybe I didn't do too good by your standards, but I probably did better than my dad or his dad, and someday maybe you'll do better than me.
I'm sure I'd screw it up. And why do you think I don't even want to try?
Yeah, well, you're gonna screw it up, no matter what you do. And when you're screwing up your kids, and they're making life a misery, you're gonna look back and think, maybe I didn't do too damn bad.
So the vicious cycle exists to make the grandparents look good, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, looks like I ain't gonna be eating any of that stuff. Tastes like crap anyway. Hey, do your old man a favor, huh? Go on down there and get something that tastes good down there at Ewald's Cafe. Oh, and get some good coffee too. Not that fancy crap you get at that coffee house.
Yeah. I think I can manage that. This is supposed to be the part when I tell you how long Buddy lived and how sad I was when he died, but you don't need to know that. You've probably been there yourself. People come and go, and we never know how long we have or how it'll all turn out, so you shouldn't take anything for granted. It doesn't work that way, though. Life is full of regrets. I regret so many things that I could have done differently if I would have just stopped for 1 second to think about what it was I was throwing away. No matter how many times you screw yourself, you do it again and again because we walk through our own lives blindly. I remember one cold October day, I made a decision to walk away and not look back. I've been over it in my mind hundreds of times, and I come to one inescapable conclusion. No matter what I think I could have done differently now, I did the only thing that I could do at that moment. Buddy did the only thing he could do too. We all screw up. The only real mistake is to stop trying.
Of the other parts of the soil